it's Mrs. Davis from Happy Place to Grow. I am so glad you are here today. You know, Valentine's Day is come and gone, but if you're like me, you still have lots of sweet treats left over. I've got some chocolate candies, and I always end up having a lot of these conversation candy hearts left over. How about you? There's always so many of them because they're so little, and there's boxes of them and bags of them. I never know quite what to do with my candy hearts. I can't eat them all. There's just no way. So I was thinking about something fun that we could do with our candy hearts that doesn't involve eating them. Let's say we do some candy heart science. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to do a little science experiment. So for this experiment, first thing you have to do is have a question. Because when you're a scientist, you're thinking about what might happen if. There's always those questions in your science mind. So we're going to pose a question, and then we're going to think about what might happen. We're making our guess about what might happen, and then we're going to test out, and then we're going to check out the results, because that is called the scientific process. And of course, we're going to be having a fun scientific experiment. Here are some things that you're going to need. So you're going to have to go gather a few things. Of course, you're going to need some candy hearts. Hopefully you have some leftover hearts. You're also going to need 3 containers. They can be plastic cups. The clear is best just because we want to be able to see through like little windows. So you need 3 of those. You're going to need a few liquids. You're going to need plain water. So I've got mine here. That I'm sure you have available, right? And then some vinegar, which is kind of smelly, but it's definitely part of the experiment, and it won't harm you even though it smells bad. I've got mine all measured out. And then you need some soda. Now this is some sparkling water, which has a fizz. So you need something that's fizzy, like a soda. And they say in the experiment, clear like a Sprite or a 7-Up. I didn't have any around my house here, so I just got the lightest colored fizzy drink that I could find. You know, sometimes when you're doing something, you might not have all the exact ingredients or exact things you need, so you have to kind of play with things and see what else you have instead of just running out and buying everything. This is available, so I'm just going to use this. I think it'll be fine. The main thing is that we can see the results when we put and test out our candy hearts. Yes, we're going to be testing our candy hearts to see what happens when we put them in different kinds of liquids. Okay, so also you're going to need, I have a sheet here, a results sheet. You know, scientists, when they're asking a question, thinking about what might happen, making their predictions, doing a test, doing an experiment, the next thing they have to do, or the final thing, is they have to look at the results. What actually happened? Did what you think was going to happen actually happen? What caused certain things to happen? Maybe you predicted something that didn't come out that way, and you might have to readjust. So logging down your results or writing the information that you learned as a result of the experiment is going to help you. You might have to go back and try it again or change up a few things. So that's how the scientist can discover and make adjustments, and then maybe have to re-experiment. So I have this little sheet. It's called Candy Heart Conversations, and I got this on the internet, and the person that created this was Curriculum Castle, and they have a cute little log sheet. But if you don't have that, you know, I've always said, if If you have a problem, you have to find a solution. So you don't have to have a sheet like this. I took a plain piece of paper and I tri-folded it and I started drawing my cups. I wanted to say the last one for you. You have to get your paper ready in just a minute, and I'm going to show you how to draw the cups. So go ahead and gather your materials: plastic containers 3, candy hearts, water, vinegar, and some kind of fizzy soda. Hopefully you have some clear soda, but hey, we're going to use what we have. And then some paper. I've got a marker, and we can, if we want, after we get finished, we're drawing the results, we can color too. All right, I'm here in the kitchen because experiments can get messy, so I'm waiting on you to go gather your supplies. I'll be here when you gather everything. All right, hopefully you were able to gather all of your supplies. Get organized. You know, when you're doing a scientific experiment, you have to get things organized, or you know, you'll be wasting time. So I've got my 3 containers up here. My box of candy hearts is already opened. And I'm going to go ahead and gather, I'm going to gather 3. I'm going to go ahead and gather 3 different colors. I'm going to do a pink, and I'm going to do an orange, and I'm going to do a yellow because that's what popped out of the box. So right now I'm just gathering those materials. I went ahead and already got my water. So in my first container, I'm going to pour some water. Just going to go ahead and almost fill it up. You can see that. And I've, you know, just sort of gotten my measuring cups because those are easy to pour. Because I thought if I was trying to pour, whoa, that's definitely not water. I thought if I'm trying to pour from this big container into a little container, I might have a spill. So I am organizing myself. And then get the soda. You heard that fizz. So that lets you know that it's carbonated, it's fizzy, it's not just plain water. And I picked this one because it is kind of light. It's a pinkish color, so I think that will be fine. Now, you have to get your logging sheet. This is going to be for the results. I went ahead and drew 3 cups or 2 cups. I wanted to draw the third one for you because if you don't have a sheet like mine that's already made. So I just wanted to show you how easy this is. You can take your pencil. Can you believe I couldn't find a pencil in this whole house? So I'm just going to have to go with what I have again. So if you're wanting to draw a cup shape, it's sort of like a cylinder, and you just draw a flat oval shape at the top, circular. And then to draw the cup shape, you're going to go down, diagonal line. You could go straight down too, that would be fine too. And then you want to bottom off, and I draw another little flattened circle. And then the person that created this sort of made the water look like there was another little skinny flat circle. But you could certainly just draw a line. So that lets us know our containers have liquid in them already. And I'm going to label, and you can too. So when you're going back and you're checking out your results, you know that this cup, this result, whatever happened, was water. And then this one is soda, or your carbonated drink. And I'm going to go ahead and switch those. And I'm actually going to put the yellow one because this one almost looks like the color of that drink. So let's switch that. And the last one, because I want these results to match my containers, and we're going to put vinegar as the last cup label. So you want to label because, and if you wanted to just write out your information, you didn't want to draw it. I like to draw. I think drawing is fun. You could even take a picture of your results, and then if you want to do it digitally, you know, there's so many ways to keep track of what's happening with your science experiments. Okay, so we've got that ready. So our question is, we have to have a question, scientists. what will happen to a candy heart when it is put into a liquid? And we're going to be testing out 3 different liquids. So what will happen when you put a candy heart in water? Okay. What will happen when you put a candy heart in soda? And what will happen when you put a candy heart in a vinegar? Now, if you know about water, obviously you do. It's clear, it's not bubbly or fizzy. Soda is fizzy and kind of bubbly. And then vinegar is actually a liquid that will pickle or preserve fruits and vegetables. So it's kind of got a strong smell. So I'm thinking, as I'm asking my question, I'm thinking that I want to sort of predict the results. So what do you think is going to happen when we put the candy heart into the water? Okay, think about that for a minute. What do you think is going to happen? Because we want to sort of guess what might happen. I definitely think that this will sort of start to dissolve because it is candy. And in my mouth, when I'm eating this type of candy, and there is liquid in my mouth, similar to water, obviously, it starts to melt. It doesn't melt right away. I have to chew it and bite it, but it does melt. So I think this one will melt over time. I don't think it will melt right away. I also think that this clear water will, as it melts, will change colors. What did you predict? Something similar, I'm sure. Now soda, because it has bubbles and fizz, I think we might get a little bit different result. I'm guessing, and maybe you're guessing this too, what are you thinking? You think we'll get a different result? I do too. I think the candy heart will dissolve, will melt, maybe quicker with the fizz action. Is that what you're thinking? I think there might be a different result. Might be surprised though. I'm not really sure about vinegar, but I'm thinking because vinegar is pretty strong, and I'm thinking if I put the candy heart in the vinegar, it will dissolve. What do you think? Eventually, in all liquids, it's going to dissolve. But do you think it'll dissolve the quickest in the vinegar? Yeah, I do too. We might be surprised at our results, but what we're going to do after we put the candy hearts in, we'll pause just for a minute, give it a few seconds to make some changes. We'll check it out because after you test, you've got to observe and see what happens and then write the results down. Okay, here we go. Cup number 1. I don't think we'll see a change right away, but let's go ahead and pop it in. And it's at the bottom. It's kind of sunk in. Let's give it a second. All right, kind of just sunk to the bottom. No change yet. Interesting. Well, let's see what happens when we plunk this into our soda. Very similar. You can't really see because it's at the bottom. Let's see if I can tilt it. But it's doing pretty much the same thing. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised at that one. I thought it would fizz up around the heart. Let's do the vinegar. Here we go. Boop. Okay. We're going to keep that in. I'm going to let these sit for about a minute. So I'm going to pause just for about a minute and then we'll connect back up. Okay. You keep observing your experiment while I'm observing mine, and then we'll meet back together. Okay. Okay, I have been observing for a couple minutes now. I got my glasses on just so I could get a closer look. What's going on with your experiment? One thing at first it was like nothing was happening, and I was kind of disappointed because I wasn't seeing the results quick enough. However, I noticed that the candy heart and soda, number one, was started to float, and number two, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell, but you might notice, and yours might be doing this too, there's lots of bubbles, lots of air bubbles around the heart, and it was, my candy heart was sort of dancing and bubbling, going up and down. Did yours do that? It was cool. I was so excited. So while I was waiting on the results, I went ahead and drew my hearts and colored them, because at first they were all stuck at the bottom. And then I showed that this one went up and bubbles. I said after 1 minute, floated and bubbled, bounced up and down, and it was rolling at one point, kind of turning and rolling. I want to make notes because I noticed right away this one, which I'm surprised but not surprised because of the carbonation in the drink that produces those air bubbles and gives the drink sort of a fizzy when you drink a soda. And this water that I have is carbonated water, so it's got that little sense of bubbliness and effervescence. And so I'm surprised but not surprised. It is still rolling. It's moving around this container. This one's really doing great. Let me take a look at the one with water. There's nothing happening as far as movement, but I'm just going to pick it up. Oh, it's kind of slimy, but it's not melted yet, but it feels, the texture of it feels like it's dissolving, but it's not dissolving because it's pretty hard. Let's take a look at the vinegar one. That one was definitely slimy. The words on the candy heart are coming out. This one is the same exact texture. It's maybe a little bit slimier. The texture is like a film, and then when you rub your fingers, it kind of dissolves into the liquid. You might see it floating up there, but it's almost exactly the same as the water, which is very surprising to me. Now, if I stayed here long enough, if I experimented long enough, I would definitely see the candy hearts dissolving eventually. But again, thinking about the fact that a candy heart is really hard, if I had a softer candy, the results may be a little bit quicker. Let me pick this one up. Oh, I can't even hardly pick that one up. It's very slimy. I am shocked. I was not expecting. It's still hard. It's still hard. I can't break it with my fingers, but it is definitely getting smaller. The size, the color of this liquid is even sort of lightening, like it's getting the yellow color in it. All of the candy heart words are washed off. So definitely we're going to have some changes over time. And I would say if we did this experiment for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, eventually all of the candy heart would be dissolved. I'm not sure how long it will take. And so what I'm going to do as a good scientist, I'm going to continue observing. I'm going to leave my candy hearts in the liquids for a while. And what I'll do is take a picture of the final results, and I'll let you know about how long it took to dissolve, because I'm pretty sure they will eventually dissolve, but it might take a while. And I don't know about you scientists, but I'm ready to head on and do something new around the house. All right, this was really fun. Again, if you have, my hands are wet, so I'm picking this up very carefully. If you have some leftover candy hearts, and hey, if you wanted to guess and test on other Valentine candy, you could. Wonder what would happen if we put chocolate candy in these three different liquids. The results probably would be quicker, don't you think? Because chocolate candy is a little bit softer than candy hearts. And there are some different kinds of candy that maybe you got when you did your Valentine's party. So you could guess and test out, maybe compare one against the other. You might put chocolate into water and a candy heart into water and see, compare the time difference. You know, it's really fun to have questions as scientists, and it's fun to test things out. That's always fun. Make sure that you're in an environment that you can, if you spill, use safe liquids, of course. Always check with your family members and parents to see. And hey, why can't the family members get in on the action? All right, scientists, I'm going to keep on observing the results. Still film me before I check out with you. This one's really going to town. It's slimy too, but it's really softening now. And the color of this water is like a peachy pink now. And there's this vinegar, which I thought the vinegar would really just dissolve it the quickest. But I found out that it's dissolving quicker and changes took place faster with the soda than all of the other liquids. That's a surprise to me. That's why I love science. You might test something out, make a guess, but the results might be different. And of course, you're learning from experimenting. So even if they don't come out the way you think, you're learning something new. I definitely learned that the carbonated soda is the quicker dissolver of the candy hearts. All right, until our next time together, as always, have a good one and keep posing questions and being curious. All right, I'll see ya real soon.